whole Dwayne Johnson being The Rock's PA. How did that come about?
um, well, I was doing an independent wrestling show in Raleigh, and there was some guy there from Epic Games, and Epic Games, they made what's the name of that big game they got right now? Jesus Christ, it's huge. But th- this guy worked for Epic Games. He asked my buddy if he could come up and do some stunts on a video game for him. He goes, yeah. And my buddy told him about me. He goes, oh, Champagne. He said, I saw him wrestle the other night. He said, does he do all these flips and stuff too? He goes, yeah, man. So he brings me up. And after he seen what I did, he didn't invite my buddy back anymore, but he invited me back again. And I felt so bad, man. But
Yeah.
he's kind of shy, and he didn't really, I don't know, he wasn't aggressive, like he should have been as far as doing those stunts. And I was, if I hadn't ever done anything before, I'm gonna act like I did. You know what I mean? You fake it till you make it. So
Yeah.
anyway, I did that, man, and he sent me to California. He to another one of his buddies. He said, my buddy needs some stunts done on the video game out there. Would you be willing to go to California? And I said, yeah. So I got me and Bowed Up, Murray Happer. He went with me. We go out there and we're working for this guy on a video game shoot. And he goes, do you know who The Rock is? I said, absolutely. He said, do you know him? And I said, yeah. I said, I know him through WWE. He goes, well, I'm going to call him and tell him you're with me. He said, I got his number a couple of weeks ago. I said, okay. So he calls Rock and he tells him I'm with him and leaves him a message. He never called back. So I felt like an idiot. The next day, the video game guy says, I tell you what, let's go out to the movie set where he's at. I know where they're filming. I said, man, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Just show up. He said, nah, it'd be all right. I'm like, you don't know the wrestling game, man. You don't show up like that. But anyway, we showed up. Rock wasn't there. He just left the set. His stunt double was there. His stunt double said, come to the bar with me, man. So we'll call him. He calls Rock, and he has the phone to his ear. He goes, yeah, do you know Marty Garner? And I hear Rock go, Champagne's with you. He said, put him on the phone, man. Put him on the phone. So he put me on the phone and asked me what I was doing there, and I told him. He said, I tell you what, come out to the set tomorrow night on Hollywood and Vine. We'll be there from 12 midnight till 6 in the morning. So I came out there, and me and Murray, Happer, and the video game guy. And we walked up. As soon as they said cut, Rock looks over there at me. He goes, first name Sham, last name Payne, former male exotic dancer from Las Vegas, Nevada, who traded his G-string for the wrestling ring, and pound for pound, the baddest man in the square circle. And everybody starts clapping. And he said, hey, that ain't me, that's him. That's Champagne right there. And he said, and there's more. He said, if you want to hear it. So we went to dinner that night, man, had a good time. He said, man, stay for the weekend, Marty. You got to stay the weekend. I stayed the weekend. They had a wrap-up party for the movie. The first night we hung out, I met Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake and, a few other people. And we're drinking Cristal champagne. And I'm like, man, this ain't happening to me. This is crazy. And so anyway, what is
Was
that?
this Marty? Just to interrupt for a second. Was this the Walking Tall movie with Johnny Knoxville? Was it this one?
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
it was. They filmed that in Vancouver, Canada. And so to make a long story short, uh, that was in January of 2003. And in March of 2003, there was WrestleMania out in Seattle, Washington. That's when Rock worked Stone Cold's last match that night, main
Yeah.
event.
19. Yeah.
And I go out there with $100 in my pocket. Okay, didn't have any money. I was going to go out there regardless. I got to the hotel. I didn't even have a room at the hotel. Matt and Jeff were there. Shannon Moore was there. Shane Helms was there. So I thought I could crash with somebody, but they all were booked up with people in the room. And so Rock hears that I'm there. He says, he calls my phone and goes, dude, what are you doing here? I said, man, just come to see the boys work. He said, I'll tell you what, tonight, me, Rey Mysterio, and a bunch of the boys are going out to dinner. He said, come out and eat with us, man. So I said, okay. And back in these days, that's when you had these little plastic phone cards, like with 20 minutes, 30 minutes on your phone card. It was for your cell phone. And you had to have those to make long distance calls or whatever. So I had one in my pocket for 30 minutes. And I see the bill hit the table. The bill was like $1,600 for the meal for all of us to eat. They put it right there at Rock's plate. I picked the bill up and said, "Let me grab this, man." I looked at the bill and put it down. I put my 30-minute phone card on the bill. I said, "Go ahead and take care of it with that." Rock, he like to pee his pants, man. He said, "You are a freaking idiot." He said, "Put them damn 30 minutes back in your pocket, boy." And so we get back to the hotel that night, and I looked at him. I said, "Hey, man, should I get a ticket for WrestleMania, or should I come to the back?" And he looked at me funny. He said, "Man, you go on with me tomorrow." He said, "What are you talking about getting a ticket?" And he said, "Be down here at 11 o'clock in the morning." And me, him, and his stunt double ran out in that lobby at 11 o'clock that morning to the limo. People everywhere, sea of people trying to get to us. We finally jump in the car. He pulls out his glasses. He said, "You ain't never seen no shit like that, have you?" I said, "Not in Vass, I hadn't." And he just dies laughing. Vass is where I'm from, a little town. Anyway, so that happened. I stayed that weekend, and his stunt double told me, so look, man, Dwayne wasn't going to tell you this, but he thinks the WWE should have given you a shot a long time ago. He said, so he wants you to come work with us on a movie coming up in June in Vancouver. He said, but act like you don't know that. He said, I want to give you some good news, man. He said, because you've had a lot of bad luck lately. So he told me that, and he said, when Rock calls you and asks you about your Social Security number, act like, just play along. Whatever he says, just play along with it. Okay. The Rock called me and said, man, I'm gonna need your Social Security number for this big party we're gonna go to in LA. It's real secure, all this. And I knew he was doing a background check on me, but I went with it. I just played along. So I'm at a wrestling match in Fayetteville, North Carolina one night. Rock calls me. He said, hey, bro. He said, man, you ain't never asked me for nothing, man. He said, I appreciate you, man. You've always been a friend to me. He said, everybody that knows me wants something from me but you. He said, now I'm going to ask you for something. And I said, look, dude, I ain't gay. No, I'm just kidding. No, he didn't say that. But, so anyway, he says, I want you to come work for me, man, on a movie. Would you want to do that? And he said, first of all, let me ask you this. He says, how much do you make a week? And a weekly pay. And I told him. He said, how about $2,500 a week? All expenses paid. All your meals are paid. You don't have to fork out any money at all. I'll put you in a 5-diamond hotel. And I said, let me think about that. Yep, I want to do it. And so went to Vancouver, Canada, started filming Walking Tall. I helped him a little bit with a publicity tour for the Rundown. And I worked on a movie with him in Prague called Doom. And man, I'm gonna tell you what, it was a blast, man. It was just so much fun, man. And he told me on the ride home, on the airplane ride home, he goes, man, how was Vancouver? I said, man, it's the most fun I've ever had. He goes, yeah, for you. He said, I had to freaking work. You over there having a good time. And I'm like, I worked. He said, if you call that work, man. But he's always riding me about something, you know. It was fun though. Had a good time.